All right, this is something new that I'm trying, and I'm going to show you a few techniques on improvisation. I plan to call this series as Watch Over My Shoulder and Learn. So I'm going to take this song, Peace is Flowing Like a River. Check it out. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. So what I just did was I played the accompaniment using just the left hand, and now I will introduce some more elements using the right hand. One of the simplest thing you can do using your right hand is to play the arpeggios. Therefore, depending on what chord you're playing at that particular moment, you can use that arpeggio to improvise. For instance, if I'm playing a G7th chord, I will use the notes of the G7th chord to improvise. So my right hand just takes up the shape of the chord that I'm playing at that moment. And now I will play this song once again. Watch my right hand closely. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Okay, you may have noticed that I often play these intervals, which are part of the chord. I may not play the entire chord, but I just play some of these triads and they sound good. Okay, now one of the techniques that you can use to improvise is you can use the pentatonic scale. You have probably studied what a pentatonic scale is, but just in case you don't know, a pentatonic scale is a 5-tone scale. The C pentatonic scale is made up of these notes: C, D, E, skip the F note, and then play G and A, using the number system in a major scale 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So now let's use the C pentatonic scale over Pieces Flowing Like a River. Peace is flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. So what I did this time was I used the C pentatonic scale, and no matter what chord I play, the scale works. Now one interesting thing is you don't have to always play the C major pentatonic scale over every chord. In fact, you can play a different pentatonic scale on every chord. What I mean by this is that when we play the C major chord, we play the C pentatonic, and even though I'm in the key of C, I can play the F pentatonic when I play the F chord. Or I could play the G pentatonic when I play the G chord. The interesting thing is that all the notes from C, F and G pentatonic scale are part of the major scale. So check this out now. F chord, C chord, G, C major, F major, G major, Okay, now just in case you got confused, let me play this pentatonic scales straight. Now this technique is called vertical improvisation, and it works over any chord. So if I was to play E major chord, so therefore when I played the E major chord, I play the E pentatonic scale, and there are also minor pentatonics. A minor pentatonic, D minor pentatonic. So this is a very useful technique because my hand just has to take the shape of the chord that I'm playing at that moment. I think the best part of playing this pentatonic scales is, like, even if there are accidental chords, you just play the pentatonic scale of that particular chord and it sounds good. And this technique is very popular in jazz music, especially because now we can improvise over any random chord using the pentatonic scale. Okay, let me demonstrate how this sounds. You can have a listen. I'm going to play over some random chords. Here we go. C minor pentatonic, G minor pentatonic, E minor, Okay, now if you found this interesting and you want to learn more about vertical improvisation, I can dedicate a separate lesson for this. Let me add one more thing, is that when you play the pentatonic scale, we can also add the flat 3 note. So over C major chord, that's flat 3, and that's flat 3 for the F major chord. The flat 3 is also known as the blue note. I can use it over F, I can use it over G. F major chord, flat 3 over G major, so now let's use these blue notes over Pieces Flowing Like a River, and let's see how this sounds. Here we go. I'm using vertical improvisation and the blue notes. Here we go. Pieces flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Pieces flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Trumpet. Use piano now. Pieces flowing like a river, flowing out to you and me, flowing out into the desert, setting all the captives free. Come on. Alright, so do let me know whether you enjoyed this session and whether you would like me to do more stuff like this.